Hey guys, welcome in. So today we are previewing USC versus Stanford. This is always one of my favorite games of the year. These games always get weird. You never know what's really going to happen. But I'm going to do my best to lay it out for you and give you some of my predictions as well. This is going to be a very important game for USC. This is definitely a better measuring stick than Rice. Although there are a lot of misconceptions about this Stanford team that I'd like to clear up. The first one being that this just isn't your normal Stanford team. What I mean by that is they don't have a dominant run game, they don't have a dominant offensive line. The majority of the time they're going to line up in 3 wide receiver sets. I keep hearing people say that they're going to impose their physical will on USC and run the ball and control the clock, when in fact that's not what their offensive philosophy is this season. They're a pass-first team with an NFL quarterback and really tall wideouts. Just taking a quick look at the Stanford starting wideouts, you have Elijah Higgins, who's 6'3", 234, Michael Wilson, who's 6'2", 210, and Bryson Tremaine, who's 6'4", 212. Now when you oppose that with the size of USC's 2 starting corners, Mekhi Blackman at 6 foot 175 and Sayer Wright at 6'1", 180, you can see where problems would start to come from that. My guess would be that Tanner McKee would probably have 35 to 40 pass attempts in this game, and I bet a good amount of those are going to be downfield shots. And if there's a bunch of one-on-one jump balls with their receivers in our secondary, that could really be bad news for the USC defense. Defensively, USC is going to have to find a way to limit big plays downfield. Now there are multiple ways you can do that. Obviously the first one is just by getting to Tanner McKee with your pass rush. Another way to help stop it, which I think is really interesting, is running a big nickel. Now obviously the nickel package comes with 5 defensive backs on the field. In this package you would be taking Sayer Wright off the field and putting in Jacoby Covington, and also swapping out Jalen Smith and Max Williams for Latrell McCutcheon and Zamarian Gordon. This would give the back end of the defense a much needed size boost, because without this package the USC secondary really lacks size overall. Now taking a look at Tanner McKee, he is very impressive. I do think he has a future in the NFL, likely a first or second round pick. The ball really jumps out of his hand. He has good field vision as well. He isn't the most mobile quarterback in the world, but he definitely can pick up a few first downs a game with his feet. But one thing he does struggle with is he tends to hang on to the ball too long. He can take some bad sacks and make some bad decisions when he's under pressure, so getting a good pass rush is going to be key for USC to win this game. McKee will throw the defense 1 to 2 bad balls a game, so when the USC defense gets their hands on the ball, they have to capitalize on it. Every extra possession you can give to Caleb Williams and the USC offense could be vital to winning the game. Now looking at the Stanford run game, it's not as impressive as we're used to. Last week against Colgate, Stanford had 169 yards on 28 carries. While that sounds pretty good, they had 87 yards on 1 run by EJ Smith, which really inflated the average yards per carry. If you take that run out of it, they only averaged around 3 yards per carry against Colgate, which is really suspect. And I like their running back EJ Smith, who is of course the son of Emmitt Smith. He has really good patience and also a really good burst when he gets open downfield, as we saw against Colgate. But there is a serious lack of depth and overall quality in their offensive line room. And as we all know, run defense isn't the strength of the USC defense either, so I think it's going to be a real good battle between Tanner McKee and those wideouts and the USC secondary. Now switching over to the Stanford defense, the Stanford front 7 has the same problems that the offensive line does in terms of depth and quality. The secondary is definitely the strength of the Stanford defense, led by cornerback Kai Blue Kelly. Now he's a player I really like a lot. He can do anything that the Stanford coaching staff will ask of him. He can play man, he can play zone, he's a very good tackler, he has great football IQ. And while I think he's a fantastic player, the only problem with that is that he can only cover one guy at a time. And while I like some other players in the Stanford secondary, I don't think they have the juice to keep up with this USC receiving core. I also foresee Caleb Williams' legs being a big problem for the Stanford defense. They're not that athletic, they're not that fast. If the USC offense doesn't shoot itself in the foot with dumb penalties or turnovers, I think that this offense could score a lot of points. So now let's look at my keys to the game for this USC offense and defense. And the first one for the offense is going to be to win your one-on-one matchups on the outside. The Stanford defense is really going to be stretched thin. Addison will likely be doubled, so the other guys on the field have to win their one-on-one matches. Number 2 is use the tight ends to exploit their linebackers. Stanford's linebackers are not good in coverage. They are your traditional thumper run-stopping linebackers. They're likely going to be in a lot of situations where they're one-on-one with Lake McCree or Malcolm Epps. I would expect Lake McCree in particular to have a breakout game against Stanford. And the last one for the offense is come out of the gate fast in the third quarter. In Stanford's game against Colgate, they came out real slow in the third quarter, and in fact they didn't score any points in the entire third quarter. If it's a close game heading into halftime, I could see the USC offense blowing this game open in the third quarter. Now switching over to the defense, the number one most important key is pressure Tanner McKee. You don't want him to settle in, you don't want him to be comfortable. You want to hit him early and often and force him into some dumb mistakes in that first quarter. The second one is catch the ball. We saw what this can do for a defense last week against Rice, and Tanner McKee is going to throw you 1 to 2 a game. You have to catch them, you have to give the ball back to this offense. And the last one for the defense is don't allow smaller DBs to be caught one-on-one with their tall wideouts. This defense has to do everything in its power to limit chunk plays. If they can do that, I think they have a great shot of turning in a quality performance. As of right now, USC is an 8-point favorite over Stanford. I think USC is going to easily cover. I have them winning 45 to 24. Let me know your score prediction down in the comments. But anyways guys, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Fight on.